So, the title of my talk is called Learning Who I Am, and that's kind of because the topic of this talk made me think a lot about how I got on the path to where I am now. And it's not that I never thought about these things before, it's just that I never thought about them in quite the way that I have. So, the topic, of course, was when did you feel like a scientist? And my first thought when I saw this was when I was very excited for the Science Slam because I came last year. It was my first time. I loved the presentations. I had a wonderful time. The food was amazing. Jocelyn's amazing. My boss is on the chair. I was going to get voluntold if I didn't volunteer. So, I'm like, this is easy. I'm a scientist. I go into... Thank you. I go into the lab every day, I show up, I do research. I have this nice little box here on the right, and yes, that's nail polish, and I promise you it's a very important scientific tool. I'm primarily an electrochemist. I work with biosensors, so you can think like the glucose meter. You put a little drop of blood on it and you measure it, and you can figure out what your blood sugar level is. And I design different types of biosensors along those lines. I've worked with things that detect HIV, things that detect pancreatic cancer. I've used gold substrates. I've worked with metal oxides. Oh, this sounds very scientific, right? Yeah. So I have these nice, fancy designs with leads attached to them, and I get outputs and graphs using $5,000+ instruments. That's science, right? And as I look at the topic, I saw the email that Jocelyn sent out, and I looked over it. I was like, oh my God. I looked over at my coworker. I don't feel like a scientist. Because the truth is, and I feel like it's kind of the graduate student condition, or at least it is for me, and if you feel differently, more power to you, I have no idea what I'm doing. But like in a good way, the whole point of science is you're trying to elucidate new things in fields. That's the whole point. If you already knew it, you wouldn't be in there doing it. It wouldn't be worth publishing. It wouldn't be worth talking about. So I spend so much time in the lab working on something that I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know enough to get started. So I constantly feel like I'm just below the bar. So I kind of had to center myself and regroup and go, how am I going to do this if I don't feel like a scientist today? So I Googled it. And Google tells me that a scientist is a noun, which is good. We're partway there. I do feel like an actual thing, an object. I exist. Perfect. And then Google says, a person who is studying or has expert knowledge of one or more of the natural or physical sciences. And I feel like that wasn't inclusive enough, so I skipped it. And I went to Merriam-Webster, and it says, a person learned in science, and we're going to stop it there and ignore the rest of it. So I'm like, okay, I'm definitely doing science. I go in the lab, like I said, I've done these things. And it still doesn't feel complete to me. And there's a reason it doesn't feel complete to me. I don't want to be a scientist. I know that sounds weird. I'm a graduate student. I work in the chemistry labs, but that's not my career path. I don't want to work in an industry lab. I don't want to do quality control. I don't want to have a wide array of instruments that I'm in charge of. I want to teach other people how to do these things. And so this is a wonderful picture of me. I wanted y'all to see my face twice because it's that important. And these are two of my students who I made sure that they were most definitely following protocol before I put this up there. They're wearing, they got their lab coats on, they're wearing goggles, they got gloves. They look like they're scientists, right? And the truth of the matter is, this is when I feel like I'm a scientist. So, a little bit of backstory. I, of course, didn't know I wanted to do this my whole life. Like most people when they were younger, the idea of being a teacher was absolutely horrifying. Why would I get paid so much worse to deal with children? And I'm sorry to all of you that are there, if you're undergrads or grad students like me, I consider you a child. I consider myself a child. I'm still worried that one day I'm going to show up and I forgot to pay one of my bills, like the oxygen bill, and they're just going to turn it off. I have to hold my breath for 3 minutes until I can get it turned back on. So just a little bit of backstory on like how I wanted to become a teacher. And it's nothing really special, in all honesty. Actually, I don't even think this person knows the effect that they had on me. And that is, I was a tutor in undergrad to make some money. School pays you minimum wage, and you say, I got my tuition money back. So I was teaching an analytical student, and they had questions regarding the Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. So for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's a wonderful plug-and-chug equation about weak acids and weak bases. If you know the concentration of something, you can figure out the pH. It's beautiful. It's simple to understand, I thought. And I'm a chemist. Of course it's simple to understand. But this wonderful person, I love her to death. She was an extremely average student who struggled. And I love her to death because she tried so hard. And that's nothing against her. And she tried and tried and tried, and I spent several hours with her, and then finally, magically, we got through it. It clicked for her. She understood it perfectly. And that was it. And we moved on. I got my paycheck. It was a good day. And then about a year later, we were in the same class together. We were taking a biochemistry course. And the interesting thing about this course, I went to a very small liberal arts college, so a lot of times people taught classes that necessarily they weren't the best person suited for it. So while she was a wonderful professor, she was a biology professor with a degree in parasitology. So while she had clearly taken the chemistry portion of this biochemistry class, she was a little rusty on it, which is perfectly fine. So a lot of times when she was getting to more of a chemistry topic, she would have one of the senior chemistry students explain it. And we got to Henderson Hasselbach. And that student that I had taught just a year ago volunteered to explain the concept to the class. So she got up and explained this concept to the class, and I welled up with this feeling of what I thought was pride. And then I realized, no, it's not. It's anger because everybody else was right. I should totally have been a teacher this whole time. I don't know why it took me this many years to figure it out. So this is kind of what I'm getting at is I don't feel like a scientist because I'm not where I want to be as a scientist yet. I like learning the science. I do truly enjoy my job. I love going in and working, but it's not where I want to be. I want to learn the material so that I can then tell everybody else about this material. That's when I most feel like a scientist. Because when I sit in the lab day in and day out, my boss is amazing. She's way smarter than me. And when I compare anything I've done to the stuff that she's done, I want to pack up and leave. But if I go out to lunch with a colleague in another lab, I feel like a genius. They have no idea what I'm doing. So, just kind of the last thing I want to leave you on is a relevant XKCD, because there is always one. And I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but it basically boils down to every single day people are learning new things. And they tend to admit that they're learning new things. And you can't shut down learning. You do embrace learning. So, this person here just heard about the Diet Coke and Mentos, and we all know how cool that is. And if you haven't, go buy a Diet Coke and Mentos. It's really cool. And he's going to go to the grocery store and teach them how to do it. So every single day when I'm in the lab, I'm the person on the left who has no idea what's going on and is just waiting for something to happen. But when I teach, I get to be the one on the right. And that's when I feel like a scientist, whenever I'm sharing what I've learned with other people. So that's all that I have for today. Thank y'all for listening to me rant.